Now let's move on to our first use case so how to go to the developer console, open your org, click here, click on the settings, go to developer console. In the developer console, you will go to file, you have to create a new one. So you will go here, Apex triggers, right? And Apex trigger. So click here, Apex trigger. Apex trigger, when you click this, it will open a new tab like this or a pop-up window like this, which will ask you a name and an subject. Name, this name will identify your trigger name. Always keep your trigger name professional, clean, crisp, and to the point, like what it is doing. You should be able to understand that what this trigger is doing. And I'll be using, as I've said, i'll be using I'll be trying to keep my Apex trigger clean. I'll try to make you learn and understand a trigger in just one go, in one simple go, without wasting your time, and making you industry ready. So always keep your trigger name professional, clean, because you can always have one trigger on one as object, right? You can write multiple triggers, but it is a Salesforce best practice that you should not write it, because there is also a proper reason for it, because you cannot control the outcome of the trigger, right? So if you write multiple triggers, you will not know what is happening, when is happening, which will trigger what. That is why we always keep one trigger on per object, right? Here I want, like, let's just say I want to update my contact from my account, where my account will be parent, contact will be my child. So I will be naming my trigger, keeping it clean, account trigger, as object where you want to trigger it, on account, submit, right? This will give you a small snippet here, right? Trigger on account, trigger account, trigger on account. Where do you want to do it? On account. What is happening? You are going to update a contact from an account, right? So, and as I've said, we should keep a trigger clean because we can reuse it. So that is why we are not going to write a logic inside the trigger. We'll be using a handler class for it. I'll be using a trigger and a handler for explaining you this, right? It will be best practice. It is the best way to write a trigger. Now go to new file, new Apex class. Again, your Apex class name should always be clean, always be professional, right? Because there will be thousands and multiple classes, multiple Apex classes. When you will be going into an industry, in your sandboxes, there will be lots and lots of classes. So always keep it clean. Now what I'm doing, why I'm writing this Apex class, I'm writing this Apex class and as an handler for my account trigger. So account trigger handler, correct? Now let's start. So let me think of a use case which I can perform here, with a simple use case. Yeah, let's just say I want to, or on the update account, update the related contact, right? Public class account trigger. This is my class name. Similarly, I will have a, here in the class I will have methods. I can have multiple methods in the class. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to update contact. So let me write a method, public static void. Why void? Because it is not going to return anything, so the return type is void. Public static void handle. Again, method name also should be clean, handle contact update, right? Here list, I will take a list, sorry, I'll take a list from where, on where, account, ACC list. This list will be a list of newly created or the newly inserted accounts. Similarly, map ID account old ACC map. This will contain a map of old account, or the map of old account, right? Which we want to compare. So why we want to do this? Because we want to compare the old account and the new account and check if it is actually getting updated or not. Correct? Now let's create a map. I as I've said, I will not use list, or because once you understand map, you will not go to anywhere, or you will not use list, right? Map, how to initiate or how to write a map. Map ID comma account ACC map equals to new map ID comma account, correct? Now let's say for, I will write a for here, because for where, for account ACC. This ACC will indicate my newly account list, or the new account list, the new saved list, or the account which are newly created or going to get created, right? Inside my for, I will write a if what this if will do, this if condition will check my various, it will have various conditions to check if like what should I show. I only want to add those accounts which are actually getting updated. I don't want to add unnecessary accounts. I don't want to have all the accounts which are there, because right now you see I might have only 14, but in the sandbox there might be thousands, right? I'm not kidding, it can be thousands, multiple thousands, million accounts can be there, right? So I will only have those accounts which are actually getting updated. Now to check here, I will create one account old. I will instantiate an account object with an old account. What I will do is I will try to have old account. I have to verify, I have to map, I have to check, sorry, not map, I have to verify if the new, if the account is actually being updated or not, right? Account map dot get, right? What, from where? ACC, from ACC dot ID, right? Now let's have various null check. I need to check that the old account phone is not null, right? Let's say I'm updating phone numbers here. Old account dot phone is not null, right? I want to check that I want to check that ACC dot phone is not null, right? Because if it is null, then what will be getting updated? So I want to check that the newly created or the phone number which I'm inserting new is not null. And I want to perform very important check here, that ACC dot phone is not equal to old ACC dot phone. What is this doing? This is verifying that okay, actually the old account or the old account phone is not equal to the new account phone, because now I am doing a very restrictive check, right? Earlier I have added all the accounts which are getting updated, right? There could be multiple scenarios on the account which are getting updated. Now more restriction, I'm just checking the phone if it is getting updated or not. Yes, now I will add all this type of account inside my map. How? ACC map dot put, correct? What? ACC dot ID account, correct? It will take an ID and an account. It will take an ID and the account. ID here will be my key, correct? Now I will go out of the if, I'll go out of the for, I will have a list. What I want to do, I want to fetch contact now, correct? Again, keeping the naming convention very clean. Fetch contact, select ID comma account ID comma phone, from where? From contact, where what I have to do, I have to check where account ID follows in ACC map dot key set. Why key set? Because when working with map we have to write the key set. Where are this account ID stored? This account IDs are stored as a key form, right, inside this map. So that is why ACC map dot key set. Now I have to use a for loop inside for loop on con. This con will represent my newly fetched contacts, correct? So this con, where I have to apply a for loop on this newly fetched contact, right? Now see, this part is very important. Why it is very important? Because what I'm going to do is here I'm going to fetch the newly updated phone number, right? Newly updated phone number. How? Account, right? AC phone, from where? From where? ACC map dot get. This is stored where? Stored inside con. Inside con, where it will be, how it will be representing? From the account ID, right? Con dot account ID, correct? Right? Now in short, what I'm doing is con dot account ID, because every contact stores the ID of its parent account, right? I have already stored all the accounts whose phone has changed inside my map, right, using the ID as their key. So now for each contact I can directly fetch its parent account from from the map by passing this con dot account ID, right? Correct. Now what I want to do is I want to update my con dot phone with what? AC phone dot, what I want to get from that AC phone, that like account instance, I want to get the phone, newly phone, right? Phone. Now I will outside this I will have a if condition. What? To check, to have a null check. Not fetch con dot is empty. It is not. If it is not empty, then what I will do is update. What I will update? My fetch con. correct. I will try to save it and see if we get any error. See, no error. Now moving back to my trigger class, what I'm doing, I am doing operation on an other object, and as the my scenario suggests, update, right? So what it will be, not before, it will be after. Insert, no, it will not be insert, it will be update, correct. As I've said, the trigger takes a boolean context variable, so I will check here if trigger dot is after and trigger dot is update. What I want to do is I want to call my handler now. How will I call my handler? Class name dot what, method name, right? Now we see that this method takes two parameters or two inputs, which is I'll present or the current ACC list or the list of the newly created accounts and an old to compare it, right? So here I will say trigger dot new comma trigger dot old map, right? Let's save it and see if we get any error. See, no error. Now let's go back to our org. You can see I have already a test account. I have already created an account with the test, and inside this you can see that I have a related contact, correct. Now let's go to the detail of that account, update the phone number here. Let's update it, correct. 321, save it. Now what should be the scenario? That contact which is related should also get updated. Now you might think that because this is related, that is why it is happening. Let me show you. I'll comment this out. Now commenting this out is that trigger is not going to have any like operation, is not going to perform any kind of operations on the contact. That is why I have commented it out. Now let's go back to our org account. Let's update it with any random value. Save. Let's go to related. You see, nothing is updated. Now again I will uncomment it just last time for you to see it clearly. Now on my details I will add one more 0, save it, related. You see, this is updated. Thank you.